These are the three ways that you can future-proof your CPA firm to prepare for the next tax season. Oftentimes, CPAs have the same exact tax season, they just have more clients, which ultimately gives them more headaches. And the challenge they ultimately face is trying to strive from where they're at to where they want to go. They constantly work harder, climbing the mountain that is the CPA firm growth, and find challenges along the way, both with clients, with operations, with their own mental mindset on if it's possible and believing in themselves as well as their business, in addition to employees and a slew of other things. Now, although as a CPA, you are very resilient and you have the ability for the work ethic to reach not only where you've been at, but then also climb to where you want to go, the big thing to do is really just take a step back and think, what does next year look like? Does that next tax season look like the same? Are you hiring more, spending more in marketing? What details really change? And so today we're going to go through the three ways that you can ultimately radically transform your firm for the next tax season. The first thing is going to be value offer. So oftentimes CPA firms have tax prep, tax strategy, and now we're adding an additional step of investment connection. Now, you can call this what you want, but ultimately, it's the opportunity for the different alternative investments that have the ability to offset taxes and also build wealth. As you know, these types of strategies are vital to help your clients in a ton of different ways. Also, for the individual who doesn't have a financial planner or a wealth manager, they tend to be the most exciting because they not only offset taxes, but also build wealth. Now, if you have tax strategy, you can offer this additional service. So what is this specifically? This is something I've done in a number of CPA firms where we not only give the recommendation of the type of investment that would make sense to offset taxes, things like oil and gas, car washes, heavy equipment, etc., but also actually connect them with the opportunities as well. Those opportunities have been pre-vetted and are compliance partners for you and your firm. Now, tactically, what this looks like is sharing a referral agreement with the partner and yourself, disclosing to the client that you would be compensated if they were to invest in this type of asset, and ultimately sharing that is up to their guidance and risk tolerance to understand if they should invest or not. You're not giving them guidance in terms of if they should or they shouldn't. You're simply giving these as pre-vetted options to your clients. Now, some of these could look like funds, some of them could be direct projects, like specifically within oil and gas, and others could be services. So, for example, the ability for a company to go and find a qualified short-term rental on behalf of your client and close it through the entire process will not only help your client understand the types of investments to make that help them offset the taxes with the options that you present to them, and also give the ability for the client to actually execute and have those things. Too often I talk to high net worth or high income individuals who want their CPAs to provide more direction than where they're at. You also have the opportunity to offer a unique service that most CPAs aren't going to, ultimately separating you from other firms and ensuring that you not only keep the client, but you also add additional value to the client. And with this additional package, you could also create an additional income stream. Now, in this partnership model, you're oftentimes able to be compensated for the referral from the client to the partner. Now, I go through this in detail in another video, so check that out if you're looking to dive into this deeper. Now, the other way to bulletproof your firm is also going to be understanding your customers, both from a net promoter score standpoint of how much they like, enjoy, and believe that you add value to them, as well as an understanding of the client themselves in terms of their income, their assets, as well as their future plans. Part of that is also understanding if they have a financial advisor or not. That simply is going to change how they not ultimately think and view you, but also how you can provide services to them. Statistics show that over 30% of people who have more than $1 million net worth do not have a financial advisor or a wealth manager. You also want to understand where these individuals came from. Now, when I talk to CPAs, they have a bunch of clients, they have no idea some of these details, which ultimately makes it challenging to really understand the pulse of your business, where it's going, the health of it, and the types of individuals in it. If I asked you a question of what percent of your clients were accredited, would you be able to answer that? How about the percent of clients who were referred by someone else? And do you know who they were referred by? These types of things are ultimately going to transform your organization because you're able to understand these small details that you can then focus on and magnify where you want to. If you really enjoy working with some clients and you realize they come from a specific source, you can then tap into that source and increase that client access. Now, if it sounds simple, it's because it is. But there are two things to keep in mind with this process. One is that typically most people don't do this. And when they do it, they don't understand the nuances of how to track, how to form, how to create, and then how to execute on that. And that's something that I've done in companies for the past decade. So that way, companies not only stand their clients, but they also understand their client's journey. And within that process, you're able to see where the value points are and where you can increase, where you need to offset or eliminate, and the value proposition of the entire organization, creating systems and processes around it, ultimately allowing you to have less on your plate and hire less people within your firm beyond just having great clients that are incredibly profitable that you actually enjoy working with. The final thing to do to bulletproof your firm is going to be proactiveness. Now, we all know that we want to be proactive, and ultimately it's the clients that have the issues with returning information and access to a number of different things. We also know that, for example, in October, we're going to get a slew of information right before the October 15th deadline. And so it's very challenging to have all that information come through in a condensed amount of time with the information and working with the client to make that happen. Now, if you've ever bought a house, you've really found that there are two different types of agents. There's one that actually documents and shares the schedule and the process and keeps you updated. And there's others that really just kind of fly by the seat of their pants. And so the way to bulletproof your firm is going to be the proactiveness on how you communicate, how you execute, and educate your clients to ultimately help you. Most high net worth and high income individuals are busy, as we all allegedly are. However, they don't understand the ramifications or the issues for how the process works, as well as how your company operates. They're not able to actually help you. Two tactical things I would recommend every CPA firm does is one, send calendar invites in terms of the education on when and how things need to be sent for certain deadlines. The other thing is going to be sharing and educating in terms of ramifications if someone doesn't do this. Now, your clients are probably running into absolute chaos within their companies, their personal life, and their investments. And so it's challenging for them to find the time or the information to help give to you. So another thing I've been helping CPA firms do is actually creating a system and process to help not only educate, inform, but create a standardization for each of your clients. So that way they understand how it works, when it is, and what is required within that time frame. That way they're understanding, knowledgeable, and can execute on what to do when. Otherwise, every single tax year, as well as every single quarter and deadline, is really just going to be the next new thing of, oh, what do you need from me? Okay, yeah, I'll try to get that sort of things. And so the opportunity to streamline some of that process is absolutely vital. And we've seen there's been a huge decrease in the amount of time and effort needed for CPA firms to communicate to their clients, simply because they're being proactive and creating systems and processes, not only within their firm, but also with their clients themselves. Connect with me more on alternative investments, systems, processes, and understanding your clients so that you can have a bulletproof firm for the next tax year.